French president warns of response if the US imposes tariffs on Europe.
Government leadership meets with 26 major corporations and businesses.
Sacred Water Procession Ceremony in the King Mai Temple Festival 2025.
You're watching today's news on NTV channel. My name is Ha Zhang, your host. French President Emmanuel Macron has warned that US tariffs on the European Union will lead to higher inflation in the US. He expressed his readiness to confront Donald Trump over financial threats.
In an interview with CNN, President Macron stated that the EU should not be a top priority for the US, especially after Trump's repeated threats against the bloc. Following tariffs imposed on Canada, Mexico, and China, he cautioned that tariffs would harm not only the European economy but also the US, given the economic interconnection between the two. Macron emphasized that imposing tariffs on various sectors would increase costs and contribute to inflation in the US when asked if he was willing to directly confront Trump on tariffs. Macron replied, "I have done it before, and I will do it again." He noted that the EU must be prepared to respond to US actions. But he stressed that the 27-member bloc should primarily act for itself.
The flu outbreak is becoming complex and unpredictable in several countries, with a high number of cases reported in areas such as the US, Europe, and Asia.
In the US, 43 states and Washington, D.C. have reported high or very high hospitalization rates due to the flu. Since the beginning of October 2024, at least 24 million people have contracted the flu. 310,000 have been hospitalized, and 13,000 have died, nearly 60 of whom were children. In Europe, nearly 100 hospitals in France have had to activate their white plan to prioritize flu patients due to overwhelming demand. Romania has also seen a record increase in flu cases, with over 170,000 infections and 35 deaths in the past 2 weeks. In Hong Kong, the flu has caused 122 deaths since the beginning of January. The Health Protection Center in this region warns that flu levels remain high in China, Japan, South Korea, and North America, urging travelers to take personal protective measures in crowded places.
On the morning of February the 10th, at the government's headquarters, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired a meeting with businesses to discuss tasks and solutions for private enterprises to accelerate growth and contribute to the country's rapid and sustainable development in the new era.
The Prime Minister stated that the government plans to meet with banks and businesses to address difficulties related to policies and regulations, gather feedback for the government and local authorities, and listen to businesses regarding immediate and future needs for continued development. The meeting included speeches from exemplary businesses and entrepreneurs representing the private sector, sharing their concerns, aspirations, innovative ideas, and bold proposals to tackle major national challenges. This aims to maximize the potential of private enterprises in achieving the socio-economic development goals for 2025 and the upcoming phases. In the concluding remarks, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh emphasized that the meeting was conducted in a spirit of responsibility, understanding, and sharing. Regarding the recommendations made, he instructed the government office to compile them, and for ministries and local authorities to promptly address them with the principle of 5 clarity: clear persons, clear tasks, clear timelines, clear responsibilities, and clear results.
Coming up next are some updated news.
The Nanning branch of China Railway Group Limited reported that in the first month of this year, Guangxi Province exported 3,062 TEUs of goods to Vietnam, marking a 760% increase compared to the same period last year. This trend continues to enhance transportation to boost trade between the two countries. The transportation time for goods from Nanning Station in China to An Vinh Station in Vietnam is only about 14 hours. Which is a significant advantage in terms of time and shipping costs. Since the beginning of the year, Freight trains between China and Vietnam have increased the transport of various goods, including fiberboard, LCD screens, and diesel engines, with annual growth rates of 1,000%, 254%, and 33%, respectively.
As of now, Vietnam has 559 projects with a total floor area of 13.6 million square meters certified as green. This number far exceeds previous targets, 80 green projects by 2025 and 160 by 2030. Experts note that although Vietnam started later than other countries in the region, we have made significant progress, with a strong increase in the number of green projects in recent years. These green projects will contribute to the goal of reducing 74.3 million tons of CO2 by 2030. As committed in Vietnam's nationally determined contributions for the construction sector, aiming for net zero emissions by 2050.
In Nghệ An, the National Power Transmission Corporation has collaborated with relevant units to commence construction of the 220 kV Du Luong, Nam Cam transmission line project. This project will be built across the districts of Du Luong, Gia Loc, and Hung Nguyen in Nghệ An province. It involves the construction of two 220 kV transmission lines from the 220 kV Du Luong substation to the 220 kV Nam Cam substation, spanning approximately 37 kilometers. The total investment for the project is nearly 557 billion Vietnamese dongs. Upon completion, it will meet the electricity demand for the central region and contribute to the socio-economic development of Nghệ An province.
Moving on to today's story. Taking place over 3 days from the 30th to the 50th of the first lunar month, the King Mai Temple Festival is a traditional celebration that marks the beginning of the year's festival activities in Nghệ An province. One of the important rituals of the King Mai Temple Festival is the water procession ceremony, which symbolizes purification, the separation of the pure from the impure, and the hope for a prosperous festival season.
At exactly 7 a.m., the procession gathered in full at King Mai Temple to perform the ritual. Leading the procession were the flag bearers, the drum and gong team, and the 8-tone ensemble. Following them was the palanquin, adorned with a jar of water covered by a red cloth, carried by 4 people. The honor of representing the villagers to fetch water this year was given to Mr. Nguyen Ton Tung, 80 years old, from Nam Dan town.
I am very honored and proud to be the representative of the villagers to perform the water ritual this year.
From King Mai Temple, the water procession set out towards the Lam River. At Sa Nam Wharf in Nam Dan district, 3 boats decorated with flags and flowers were arranged, and then the procession boarded the boats to go upstream on the Lam River. When the procession reached Hung Sun Mountain, at the bend of the river in front of King Mai's tomb, the water-fetching ritual took place. Mr. Nguyen Ton Tung respectfully offered incense to report to the river god, the mountain god, and the spirit of King Mai Hak Da, requesting permission to fetch water from the Lam River. When the jar was full, the procession returned to Sa Nam Wharf, continued to carry the water back to King Mai Temple, and performed the ritual of washing the offerings in the temple.
The water procession ceremony is the opening event of the King Mai Temple Festival, a spiritual ritual expressing our reverence and gratitude for the contributions of King Mai and the royal family.
After the water procession ceremony, the King Mai Temple Festival 2025 will feature various cultural and sports activities such as volleyball matches, wrestling, card games, folk games, camping, arts festivals, and a lantern night. Tomorrow morning, the incense offering ceremony in memory of King Mai and the official opening of the King Mai Temple Festival 2025 will take place at the special National Heritage Site of King Mai's tomb in Nam Dan town.
It's time to say goodbye. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.